from here with the escort and the marching bands. We've seen the U.S. Army Band, Marine Band. They have made their ways through, and there appears to be a stop. He may get out here and walk this. This is what he did 4 years ago. And, Brian, I should point out, as somebody who used to drive on Pennsylvania Avenue when they first moved here, there was a time everybody used to drive on this part of Pennsylvania Avenue. Of course, it got closed down back in the early 90s. But this is the most traffic this part of Pennsylvania Avenue sees every 4 years these days.
Yeah, Chuck, I mean, as recently as when I covered the Clinton White House, I used to get dropped off for work on Pennsylvania Avenue and walk in the Northwest. It's hard to believe that it was that short a time ago that it was open to vehicular traffic.
9/11. Right, this was pre-9/11 that they shut that down.
It was really, sadly, Oklahoma City.
Right.
And the threat of a large explosive and what it would do to that sandstone structure that led the Secret Service to deliver their recommendation to the Clinton family that on behalf of the nation, they should shut it down, and they did. David?
Brian, there's some symmetry to the day. We keep talking about how lovely it is for January. When did the president talk about how the climate is changing? I'm sure he'll get out of the car again to just make that point again, that this is something he quite intends to take on. The atmospherics today only reinforce his point. Of course, the debate is about what government ought to be doing about it, but
maybe roll up his sleeves to show how warm
yeah, take off the overcoat for sure to make the point politically, right?
Yeah. So we're on 15th Street.
To the White House at the conclusion of the swearing-in ceremony. The presidential escort
passing by the Treasury Department, right?
Now, the crowd is thinned here by necessity, and note how they manage the crowd to prevent surges. They don't allow big, wide lanes. So some of those runners we've seen who want to kind of keep up with the motorcade are usually prevented by choke points. And a lot of the side streets are blocked. You see the risers for media and invited guests. Every one of these risers, people aren't there by accident. They are supporters, donors, friends of the administration, people who helped along the way during the campaign. We're not far from the famous rooftop bar, the Hotel Washington, one of the most beautiful places to enjoy a cocktail if you're David Gregory on a summer night in Washington.
Particularly a Sunday night. Sunday's the new Saturday, I like to say.
And what would an inauguration be without at least a half-hearted attempt by Al Roker and his hat to go into the street and get the attention of the newly re-inaugurated president. Al, do you read me?
I do read you, Brian, and of course I would not let you down. I'm going to attempt that. We can. So thank you for bringing that up too. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, buddy.
The motorcycles are now making their way down Pennsylvania Avenue, so we expect that motorcade to be making its turn very shortly. This would be a perfect time for the president and the first lady to get out of the car. The sun just starting to set behind some very thin cirrus clouds. Not a big problem. Blue skies for the most part. Temperature 45 degrees. The crowd has been waiting. They're excited. They're all looking down with anticipation down Pennsylvania Avenue. We can see the first media truck getting ready to make the turn where Tamron Hall is located. As that makes that slow turn,
hey,
people
Al,
are starting to get...
I called D.C. police for you. They say it's fine. Go ahead, jump the barrier. It's really...
Thank you very much. That's awfully nice of you.
No problem. Just jump in now, run across, run into the street.
What a guy. No, I think I'm going to stay behind this barricade.
Good boy.
Because I do want to get home sometime tonight. Okay.
Or in the next several years.
Exactly. But within 5 to 10, I'll be out, and that'll be great. But in the meantime, we can see the turn now being made, all the media trucks. So that means the president's car and the rest of the presidential motorcade will be here very, very shortly. And this crowd, this end of it...
Al, I'm going to be your eyes and ears. They have slowed to a crawl on the turn. First of all, the big highlight is going to be seeing Tamron Hall, who's going to be on one of those camera trucks. And then you'll see the president. They have slowed, but it looks like they're not going to walk the final leg. It's too early to say with any certainty, but it looks like they have rounded the turn to come to you.
Well, we're hoping that they may get out, but they may just show great restraint and better judgment and just avoid me altogether.
Well, here we go. Here we go. We're getting out. They want to see Al Roker.
This is the turn on to Pennsylvania, right?
I don't think so. They've turned a little. They've gotten out a little early, I think. All right, and we see the crowd now really getting excited on this side of Pennsylvania Avenue.
He's out of the car. He's facing the crowd behind them. This is right at the elbow of the turn that goes in front. You're in front of the Treasury Department. The red brick building in the background is the old Riggs Bank building, and this will take in the final home stretch down a short section of Pennsylvania Avenue.
And maybe the most easily defended part of this whole route, wouldn't you say?
Maybe the most heavily defended piece of pavement in the entire city. That's a built-in guard shack in the background, and this section of road, since it was closed down, has been lined with cameras and guards. The White House gate, the first of the White House gates, will be coming up on the right side of your picture.
This section of Pennsylvania Avenue, despite not being able to drive on it, which is unfortunate, has become a great pedestrian mall.
That's true.
For visitors and
Protesters,
people playing street hockey. There's all kinds of things going on there.
That's right. No pressure on Al Roker, but anything less than an interview here will be considered a failure.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, I think we can pretty much assume that it's going to be a failure.
Now get a strong point and a thumbs up. I think that's that would be strong.
It's the best we can hope for at this point.
I can see them. There he is. There's Tamron Hall. Hi, Tamron. How are you? Good to see you.
Yeah, that doesn't get you off the hook, Al.
I know. Well, look, I take my chances. All right. There's a lot of stuff blocking me. Mr. President! Mr. President! Mr. President! Mr. President! Mr. President! Mr. President! How's it going? Is the weather good? Is that fantastic? All right, Mr. President.
Wow.
That's huge.
There you have it, the first interview with the newly re-inaugurated 44th President of the United States. Wow.
Okay? Okay?
Wow. That was, I think, an interview. We're checking with the National Board of Review, but I think it met the minimum standards. Question asked, question answered, follow-up.
Hey, hey, if there's anybody who can meet a minimum standard, it's me.
There you go. And Al Roker, ladies and gentlemen, President has endorsed the weather and his own re-inauguration.
There you go. He gave his own forecast earlier. He said it.
How would you?
All in all, I think one of his best of this young second term, Brian.
Al Roker, ladies and gentlemen, fresh from his exclusive first interview with the newly re-inaugurated President Obama. Wow, as service members now fill in to make sure that doesn't happen again. Chuck Todd.
They are reviewing Secret Service protocol right now.
Yeah, we'll see in a couple of years. Chuck Todd and Andrea Mitchell are now coming into the heart of the order. This is